All right, we are live. This is the Health, Love, and Life Show. This is Coach Arnie, and welcome back. So tonight's topic is about adventure, how adventure can change your life. And just a reminder on the WGSN Going Solo Network. And so I'm glad you're here, and I want to say thanks again to CC Schatz for helping us out and allowing us to do this. And there's my contact information. Feel free to call me or email me whenever you get an opportunity or have a question. It is about life, and there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in life. I actually was just talking to Cece about that, which is one of the reasons that I've chose this topic tonight, because I think a lot of us are just tired of people, things, maybe telling us what to do, how to live our life. And sometimes we got to get away. It's one of the reasons that I probably every weekend I make plans to go somewhere and just get out in nature. I mean, I'm telling you, it's an addiction. I just had a guy that I'm training right now to do the Grand Canyon in February. He just texted me. He goes, are we hiking this weekend? And I never have partners planned like this, but I wanted him to learn how to do it right, because he'd never really hiked, and I just wanted to get him off to a nice start. So this will be our fourth weekend, and I said, well, I want to get you over a certain level and then turn you loose, and because it's hard to do this by yourself. And I know a lot of people that try to do hiking, running, and travel, anything that involves risk. And I don't just mean physical risk, but emotional risk too, because you're doing things by yourself. You're meeting new people and traveling. Maybe you go in another country, or especially right now, all the craziness going on, if you can even go to another country. But and a lot of people are afraid to do that by themselves. The old adage, safety in numbers. It came from somewhere, didn't it? I have taught myself to not rely on other people, and not because I don't love people, because I do, but it's because, and I was telling this gentleman that he's one of the first people that I've actually scheduled stuff with on a regular basis, not a big trip, on a regular basis. It's been there. He's been there on time, and that's kind of fun to not have to worry about, where's my guy at? Where's my friend at? I was pulling into a park near my home last weekend, because we were going to hike close by. And there was a car coming out the inn where I was coming in. And as I was driving in, this car started backing up into the parking lot. There hardly was anybody. I think there might have been one other car in it, but he's backing up in there. And I'm thinking, is this guy drunk or out of his mind or something? And I pulled into a spot and got out and started getting ready. And he got out for a minute, and then he got back in his car, and then he drove away again. And then my friend came in, and he was doing the same bit. And then we figured out why, because he was waiting for a young lady. So, so we'll do things. We'll wait, when it's somebody who's super important, but it drives that kind of anxiety drives me crazy. I just like to go. I like to show up and go, because I know I can trust me. I'll show up. So if I tell you that I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there. And that's why this summer, when I set up a whole trip to the Grand Canyon, and I got sick. I felt like the biggest goof. I had 6 people, and I'm saying, guys, I can't go. It's not going to work out. It'd be dangerous. And they were very wonderful. And 2 guys actually made it. 2 other people went a weekend before I went, or after I went, just a month or so ago. So, yeah, but it's rare that ever happens. And especially when I set it up. So it's hard to do things with people. Schedules, families, life gets in the way, and then you start getting disappointed. I used to do that. I used to work out when I was a young man with other people, workout partners, and before you know it, they're missing. And you might have planned a big workout, and your partner's not there. That's disappointing, right? It is. So me taking him on this, to me, is a big deal, because I made a commitment to him. I want to show him how to do this, and then turn him loose, and then we can kind of keep touching base, and then when we go, we go. He'll be ready, because I know he's ready, and I'll just communicate with him on that. So doing adventurous things requires courage. It requires courage on your part, because it's a lot easier just to go with somebody or wait for somebody, even if they disappoint you. See, then you have a built-in excuse. Well, I didn't go because Mark didn't show up. It's Mark's fault. I used that excuse myself, I want to say 3 years ago. 3 years ago, almost. Yeah, 3 years. And when I went on my first night crossing the Grand Canyon. And went with a guy. Didn't really know him that well, but he quit on me at the north rim of the Grand Canyon. He just said, I don't want to go anymore. Midnight. And see, I felt obligated to stay with him and help him, even though he was 20 years younger than me and potentially in better shape than I was, which means he was more than mature enough to take care of himself, right? But I felt the need to take care of him, which was a mistake. But I don't do that anymore. So everybody needs, unless I am asking you, and then I'm gonna stay with you as best I can. But yeah, and so let's get back to adventure in general. And what I want to do tonight, in this time that we have, is go through a number of points that I've put down here on how adventure can change your life, what it does to you, and how important it is, especially in this day and age where a lot of people are locked in, then have been released, and then there's a potential of being locked in again. And it really has done a number on our mental health, our physical health, immune systems, and I don't say that in a good way. So let's kind of you'll see here when I go through these points how adventure can and does positively change your life. Positively. Okay. Look at, I wrote this little headline here. Adventure can lead to crazy stuff happening in your life. Crazy stuff like happiness and fulfillment. How's that for crazy stuff? Because see, a lot of people are chasing happiness all the time. And you can attract happiness. And as I've said many times, happiness is just basically under your feet. It's a matter of being kind. So, but I believe that kindness starts with ourselves. I believe that when you're kind to yourself, take yourself on a trip, do something nice for yourself, go for a bike ride, go for a swim, go for a hike, you will attract happiness into your life. It's like that. Works every time. And do that on a regular basis, and you'll have fulfillment. If you love yourself, if you're doing these great adventure hikes, bike rides, travel to different states, countries, whatever you can do, I mean, I am telling you right now, you are going to be fulfilled, especially if you're doing it with someone you love, which includes yourself. So don't be afraid to travel. Maybe it's a good time to get acquainted to yourself and learn to love yourself. Make for the best traveling companion, right? The best. So remember that. So the first thing I put down after happiness and fulfillment was desire. You have to have a desire. And another word I use for that is curiosity, to do something crazy, to do something adventurous, something you can share, an experience you could share with your family, with your friends, with others, that you can talk about it. I was talking at a group yesterday at the gym, and this gentleman that was there, he's now retired, but almost 40 years ago, I drove his truck the whole length to California, mostly on Highway 1, old Highway 1, all the way to Oregon. And him and I, we hadn't talked about this in 40 years. And we were talking about it like it happened yesterday. How's that for an adventure that changed your life? Changed my life. He wasn't on it with me. I just brought his truck to him. But the things that I remember the most are the goofy things that happened, like running out of gas in the middle of a canyon. This is way before cell phones. And how people out of the blue just show up and help you. And you stay with people that you just met. I mean, just crazy adventures. I got stories like that all over the place. Why? Because when I was younger, I just started to do, some might say, dumb things. But those dumb things created memories, impacted my life in a positive way, because even those negative things became positive memories, because you get to laugh about it. If you learn from it, you get to laugh about it. And it makes you who you are. And you can look back in your life and say, this is what I did. That's a pretty neat thing to do. You know, it's a pretty neat thing to do. So, but you have to have a curiosity to want to discover new places in the United States, especially right now, since that's probably the only place you can go. But there's so many places you can go in the United States: national parks, museums, oceans, lakes, forests, mountains, canyons. All these places allow you to go on an adventure. But you got to be curious enough to want to. I've heard it all the time. Oh, I don't. I remember I used to do as a little kid. No, I don't want to go, because I was afraid of what I was going to meet or who I was going to meet. I had this fear for whatever reason. Thank God I outgrew it. But I was fearful. I don't know why. I have no idea. Something maybe crazy happened. Have to go through some psychotherapy on that. So let's look at the second thing I wrote down. Start small. See, some people might think, well, I'm going to go on a sailboat across the Pacific Ocean to Hawaii. No, that's a kind of a big adventure. That'll scare the bejeebies out of you, and too many opportunities for things to go wrong. But why don't you just maybe the adventure is getting out of the house and go for a walk in the park. You know, or maybe drive to a forest area and just go for a hike on a trail. Or if you live close to the ocean, go to the ocean, take your shoes off and walk barefoot in the sand. I mean, those are small adventures that when you get in the habit of getting out of your space and getting to a place that's different, it can start to grow momentum. And you start to do more. You start to go further away from your home. you start to do more things that require you to, which is our next point, push yourself, which is step 3. Push yourself. What do you mean? What do I mean by that? Pushing yourself can be physical or mental. That's right. Because maybe it's pushing yourself to go a little further away from your home. Maybe it's pushing yourself to do something really bizarre. I don't know. Maybe it's sign up for a class in a nearby town, a night class. Maybe it's to go to a concert by yourself. Maybe it's to, hike a big famous trail in your state or your area. I was joining a group tonight, and it was Las Vegas hiking, because I was going to talk about my program, because I do a lot of work in the Grand Canyon and other places, and a lot of these groups have questions. Why do you want to join our group? Kind of stuff. Okay, whatever. That's cool. And then one of the questions was, name your favorite hiking trail in Las Vegas. I wanted to say, I don't know, walking across the street to the Caesar's Palace. But that probably wouldn't have been a good answer. So I did a quick Google. I think it was Red Mountain. I don't know. I looked it up, and this trail was all over the place. I said, that's got to be it. Well, guess what? Before I started this show, let me grab my trusty card here. Las Vegas Hiking Group accepted my my membership. So they must have liked my answer. But yeah, you can find, there's so many, wherever you live, it doesn't matter where you live. There's adventures there somewhere. Caves, canyons, mountains, museums, the ballet, ball games. Well, you can't go to ball games. But there's adventures out there for you. There really is. But you got to want to push yourself. You got to want to challenge yourself to that next level, whatever it is for you. If that next level means driving a little bit to an adventure or a weekend, might be worth it. Might be worth it. So we're going to take a quick break here. Then we're going to come back with number 4. So let's give a few minutes, not a few minutes, a few seconds here to take a break. Be right back. I guess it was a couple of minutes. We are back, though. We are back with the Health, Love, and Life Show. And we are on step 4. We are on step 4 of how adventures can change your life. Well, number 4 is if we can find a wow factor. See, on the current package that I'm putting together, this adventure package I'm putting together, I'm trying to build a wow factor into it. Wow means, wow, I can't believe I did that. Wow, that was so cool. Like I'll use the Grand Canyon. I remember the very first time I went to the Grand Canyon in 2014 with my daughter and my son-in-law. I walked up to the trail entrance and I looked across and I saw the vastness of this amazing seventh wonder of the world, right? And I thought, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to do that. Wow. Huh? Wow. And you can do that in many ways. I mean, whether it be in a show, we've all been into a wonderful show and you came out and you go, wow, that was amazing. Or we've been to a ball game, like a Super Bowl. Wow, I can't believe that game came down the last minute. That was exciting. I've never seen something like that before. It could be many different things. You go on a vacation to a beautiful place, maybe Hawaii when they open up, or just where they have beautiful beaches and hotels and just neat things. And you just go, wow, I can't believe I'm able to do this. So by finding that wow factor in whatever you're doing, I like to call it go for it. Go for that extra level. That extra level is going to create that memory. You push yourself, whether it's meeting a new person, whether it's, going on. A lot of travel involves like side little travels too, where you can go maybe visit the area, or you can, whatever they set up for you. And that creates that wow factor, or maybe it's a great restaurant at the end of the day or whatever it might be. I don't know, but a lot of times they offer it and you don't take it. You got to go for it. Give yourself that little extra edge that's going to create that memory that you're going to talk about. That's what it's all about. Something you can talk about. Number 5, get off the beaten path. Don't just stay where everybody else stays. Go a little further. Go a little further. Don't be like everybody else. Go against the grain. Challenge the status quo. If everybody goes the first mile, go the second mile. If you're ready. We're going to talk about that. But don't just stay where everybody else is staying. If everybody's eating at one place, eat somewhere else. Create your own memories. Okay? But get a little further away from where all the tourists go, where all the runners go. I have a certain hike that I'm going to do probably this weekend, and we always start off, go to the top, and then where everybody else goes, and then we come back down on what I call the backside, and it's calm. Because you know why? No one goes there. I never could figure out why not. I thought it's a better trail, but everybody stays on the main trail. And I stay off the beaten path. And I can go at my own speed. And it's an amazing experience. So get away from the beaten path a little bit. Rationalize your fears. When I saw this, when I was looking at it, I thought to myself, that might make sense. Because, see, I like to use the example of my son-in-law. He lives in New Mexico. Very fit man. And New Mexico has some amazing mountains. Now, the difference between New Mexico and my house is my mountains are close to my house. In New Mexico, they're a little bit of a drive for this gentleman. A little bit. But enough that it adds another potentially 2 hours to your hike. And to me, that's a game changer, because if I want to go for a hike somewhere, I'll plan it and go. But on a regular basis, that can become daunting. He's always wanting to do hikes in the New Mexico forest which aren't really planned. I mean, they're planned, but they're not on organized trails. They're on a little more risky areas. They're more like scrambling or orienteering. And it doesn't, to me, it creates a little bit too much fear. It doesn't excite me because it involves more thinking. Don't judge me. And versus I like to go out in the wilderness, but on a more dedicated trail. I mean, it's still the wilderness, but it's a dedicated trail. And so we constantly play this cat and mouse game. Oh, come with me. Oh, no, come with me. I just feel that my risk is a little more calculated, and because bad stuff can still happen, but it's just a little more calculated. So fear doesn't creep in as much at all, which is good, because I want there to be a challenge, because I know what the challenge is. I just don't want fear to be a part of that. It's not healthy. Not healthy. Even though fear will motivate, fear will inspire you to go the extra mile. Better believe it. But overall, it's not a healthy way to live. Number 7 here. This is kind of important. Set yourself up for success. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that on an adventure standpoint is your health, which includes your mental health. See, if you're healthy, if you're physically fit, and even before physically fit, if you're healthy, there are a lot more things you can do. Yeah, because you can hike, you can walk, you can ride a bike, you can do things if you're healthy. But if you're not healthy, it limits you. So it's super important to get yourself. So I'm a big believer in anything that I teach or do. Get healthy first, and then there's not as much of a limit on what you can't do or can do. But it comes down to getting healthy. Your health, like money, gives you options. Because you can say, no, I don't want to go because I don't feel like going. Okay. Instead of, boy, I can't go because it scares the crap out of me. I think I might collapse. See, then your fear owns you. Your fear owns you. I don't want your fear to own you. I want you to own your fear. So you got to get your health optimized. You need to create a strong mental fitness element as well. You got to get your mind right, and you got to get your body right. And that leads to our next point 8, which is get in shape. I mean, first of all, look at what you're going to be doing. What kind of physical conditioning do I need for that? Am I going hiking? Am I on the right program? Am I on the right program that's going to help me get what I want? Do I have enough knowledge? Am I working hard enough? If you're not doing these things or asking these questions, you might make a mistake. But depending on what you're trying to do, you've got to get yourself in physical good shape. Just like that. You have to. Because then you become a liability to the people in your group and to yourself. So get yourself in shape. All right, number 9. This is kind of important because a lot of people do somebody else's adventure because they just want to be with them. Like the guy this weekend. I don't know if he wanted to go hiking. Maybe he did. I don't know. But I know he would do anything that girl was doing. So she could have been, baking a cake. He'd have been just fine sitting in the kitchen. That's me judging. But you got to find what works for you. You got to find the adventures that work for you. if yours is not being on 2 feet, but maybe being on 2 wheels, maybe I have so many friends that have traveled all the way across the country on a motorcycle. Maybe that's your dream. I don't know. Maybe your dream is to ride your bicycle across the country. I don't know. Maybe your dream is to, I don't know. Think about it. Whatever your dream is, it's yours. It's not my job to judge you and your dream. So you have to find out what works for you, what inspires you, what motivates you. Once you have that, you're on your way. You're on your way. You really are. So let's start to move along here. How about this is, I'm going to come back to that. Mindset. We've been talking about mindset all along here, but adventure can really have a positive impact on your mindset. It can also have a negative one, but we're not going to look at that. We're going to look at the positive aspect. I just finished coaching a young man on a half Ironman. Never done anything like that in his life. He was okay, but he's lost about 30 pounds. Looks great. Sounds great. And one of the things he told me was when we did a debriefing of the event, one of the things he told me was how doing that event gives him the mindset now that there's nothing he can't do. When it starts to get tough, there's nothing he can't do. And if through that he can make 2 or 3 more phone calls a day, 15 a week, 60 a month, 720 in a year, you think he might get some improvement there? I don't know. So, so the idea here is to, when you create that mindset. So what he learned was there's nothing he couldn't do, and he related it to his business, making those extra phone calls, making those extra calls on doctors because he sells medical supplies, making all these things. He goes, I can do it. I have a different mindset now. All because he put himself through a crazy adventure this last 8 months. So it changes your mindset, doing great things, traveling, meeting new people. You're not afraid to do something different in your normal environment once you've done something crazy outside your environment. You build that confidence that you've got adventure in your heart. It changes your life. You're not afraid to go up to that girl or that guy and say hi. Ask if you want to have a cup of coffee. Because you've been talking to strangers for 2 weeks. Maybe. I don't know. Whether it's a phone call, asking somebody for coffee, I don't know. But I know this. When you're continually putting yourself under that kind of stress, you'll change. You'll change. Mood. It changes your mood. You're happier. I've rarely met anybody that goes on adventures, whether it's a physical adventure or they're all physical, but or traveling or whatever it might be, that is sad about it. You know what they're sad about? And when they have to stop, when they have to come back to their normal drab life. But when they're on vacation, when they're on an adventure, they're excited. Their mood is phenomenal. That's one of the reasons that when people go on vacation, even eating food more than they normally would, they lose weight because all the stress in their body just dissipates. And food, so it's a lot easier to lose weight. Did you know that? It's true. It's very true. Some of you may have experienced it. So it changes your mood. It energizes you. It brings you energy. When you have something to look forward to in your life, man, oh man, does it create energy in your life. It really does. It really impacts your life with tremendous energy. Okay? It impacts your life. It energizes your life. It really does. When you have something to look forward to, it gives you energy. And if you're living your life that way, thinking about that next adventure, maybe you're daydreaming, thinking about that next adventure, man, you know what I'm talking about, right? Changes your life. It really does. It makes a big difference. And there's nothing like that feeling of energy that comes into your soul because you have something to look forward to, something you've been planning. You know, you've been planning it for months and months and months and months, and you've been saving for it. You've been studying YouTube videos. You've been talking to people, and the closer and closer your day gets, you get more and more excited, right? I think I'm right. I just know that it happens. That energy is pretty amazing. And most of us will never experience that because we don't work in adventure into our life for whatever reason, whether it's fear or whatever the reason might be for you. Or maybe you don't think you're worthy of a great adventure where you're doing some crazy things and treating your body to this amazing experience. I don't know. That's something to work through yourself. It gives us perspective. You know, I like to call it empathy. It gives us an amazing ability to see the world from someone else's point of view. So if you're traveling to another country and you get to see what they see, you get to experience what they experience. It gives you a different perspective of life. You get to better understand the human soul if you allow it. Some people may not want to. But it allows you to see things differently. I'm not saying you have to agree with it. That's why it's empathy. Seeing and understanding what other people see and seeing the world from the other person's point of view is for them. It's not for you. You just want to see it so you can understand it better. And you can help them, encourage them. Because that's what they want. So it definitely gives you different perspective. It changes you. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean, depending on what you're doing, whether it's a physical race, physical challenge, a relationship challenge. I mean, these are things that change your life. These are things that have an impact on us for the rest of our life. If you do something great now, you'll remember it your whole rest of your life. And it's all for the better. It changes your life for the better. But we have to allow it to change our life. We have to allow us to have the ability to enjoy this change that's happening to us. Meeting new people, traveling to different places, extreme physical exhaustion, extreme mental exhaustion, extreme emotional exhaustion. And then give yourself the ability, the time to share the joy, share the amazing way your body responds and how powerful it is in your life. But it changes your life for the better. All these things we've been talking about for the last few minutes changes you. The last thing I wanted to talk about was, I think that to really get the best experience is hire somebody, a tour guide, a coach, an expert, or you can do what I did and just learn the hard way and miss out, get hurt. I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm just telling you, you can cut this thing down to a great learning experience because, a lot of these adventures are expensive. And you don't want to take an expensive adventure and turn it into a nightmare just so you can learn. That's kind of dumb. But if you take somebody with you, or you study it on YouTube or study this or whatever, so that you can study it, so that you try to avoid making goofy mistakes, I think that's a good idea. Hiring somebody. I know when I take people down the Grand Canyon, I want to teach them how to do it right. I want to teach them to respect the canyon. I want to teach them to listen to their body. I want to teach them about what they need to know to make the experience epic. An epic experience. An epic adventure. Because that's the kind of adventures I want to go on. And I know that most people want to go on epic adventures. So hiring somebody to help you can save you a lot of time and money. A lot of time and money. And you learn. Not everybody learns the hard way. You know what that does to people? Forces them to quit. Then you don't learn anything. You're bitter. And you miss out on a big part of life. You miss out. So hire that expert. All right, everybody. This has been Coach Arnie. This has been the Health, Love, and Life Show. And I hope that everybody gets out there and starts to do something different. Be different and challenge the status quo. Work adventure into your life. And then work a big adventure into your life. And really change your life. I promise you it works every single time. All right. Give me a holler. Give me a call anytime. I love you guys. And I'm not sure if we're going to be on next week, but we'll see. I will talk to you next time. Bye.